we're not out of this yet, folks. So no, not even quite. So just sit back and relax because we got a nice, fun little tidbit of news for you. It's no surprise over the past couple of weeks, we've had a lot of talk on the subject of abortion, just since the documents leaked from the Supreme Court that they were thinking about overturning the Roe v. Wade judgment. And we've just had a lot of people coming out of the woodwork and giving their opinion on it. Of course, I'll give my opinion on it as well as someone who's had 2 kids. Or I haven't had 2 kids because I'm a man and I cannot have children. But we've had this argument a lot. There's a lot of people talking about abortion right now. A lot of interesting takes out there in the internet, and Twitter just never seems to disappoint. Especially from this profile here, Miss Joe Lumen. I've never heard of, but just wait. The take is spicy because these people, they just can't just say something and seem well adjusted. They have to go all in on the racist roots that they have. And she, like many of her counterparts, just does not disappoint. Here it is. I would rather get an abortion than have a brown child who ends up being adopted by white evangelicals. It is not a kindness to children of the global majority to give them to people who will traumatize them with self and ancestral hatred. Sorry. An abortion is an act of love. I don't know if this is intentionally racist or if she doesn't realize how racist it is. But there's a couple of things that just stick out to me. One being her use of a brown child and hoping that, like, she would rather kill a small developing human than to have a brown child who would end up being adopted by white evangelicals. Like, there's a lot of assumptions being made here. And again, you know, one of the things too that's a little disturbing when people talk about like the Catholic faith or just religious people in general, it's never in a good light, especially from this side of the political spectrum. There's no doubt that people in the past who come from the religious right have been a little nutty. Let's just get that out there. But painting people with this broad brush is just unacceptable. Also, this also goes to reinforce that these people, they want to enforce their way of thinking on you. They don't want your view put on them. That point is very much lost on the left. And this person does not represent the majority of the people on the left. They represent quite a few people, and quite a few very, very loud people. This again is also making assumptions that a brown child in the hands of a white family would somehow do them more harm while they're alive, so we should murder them before they're born in order to protect their future later. And finally, an abortion is an act of love. Now, say what you want about the necessity of abortion. I believe it should be available for the very, very few times that it is needed. But to say, one, that abortion is healthcare, and also that abortion is an act of love, it's just flat out wrong. It would be very, very difficult to make the case for either of those things. An act of love is something that helps foster an act of good nature in another. Abortion doesn't do any of these things. An abortion is an act that goes within a woman's body, ends a life that is coming into existence. But people don't often talk about the trauma that exists after having an abortion, a year or two down the road, the regret of taking that life away. It's often too much for the left to understand the joy it brings to foster real love with a human being that they created, regardless of the circumstances. It's a difficult thing to talk about, and I don't pretend to know everything on the subject, but Too often, people are taking these kind of tweets seriously. They're spreading them far and wide. Not saying it's doing any harm necessarily, but we need to start thinking about how to turn the tide, how to build on culture, learning how to foster new life, how to really create an act of love, even out of something as horrible as rape or anything like that. All right, guys, that's it for this little short. Thank you for tuning in. If you like content like this, if you like my commentary on topics from this and that and all things cultural and political, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe down below, and make sure you turn on all the notifications so you're aware of any time that we go live on Wednesday or Friday, or anytime a video pops up anytime in between. Thank you guys so much. See you next time.